Perfect. All right, good evening, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 20th. It is the summer solstice. This is the meeting of the. I'm sorry, we're not there yet. We 1 second. This is the meeting of the golf commission. And before we do anything, we do call to order. There's no audience of citizens, so let's have a pledge of allegiance, please. Move your hats, please. Oh, sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. All right, well, currently present, we have Commissioner Lucas. What's your last name?
Van Zant.
Lucas Van Zandt, okay. Rob LeBar. What's missed out? William Richards, James Green, James Norton, and Galen Wick, in addition to Saul Guerrero. All right, so with that, we can go to what is the citizens which we have none? Approval of minutes from May 16th. Has everybody read the minutes from May 16th? Very good. Are there any comments on the minutes from May 16th?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, page 3. Paragraph 4, it says, Director of Golf Guerrero said Ramsey owns the restaurant equipment for Rent's kitchen itself.
No.
Equipment in the kitchen sounds.
Right, but that's not.
Oh, is that what it says?
So it's-
Okay, so there's a correction to the minutes. Okay, so the correction is specifically what is the correction? So that is page 3. Under number 4, Director Golf said the Ramsey owns the kitchen equipment, but rents the kitchen itself. So the town actually owns the kitchen equipment, correct?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so Alina, that is for you. And that will be taken care of. Very good. Okay. With that being said, is there any other changes that you have? Anybody else have changes? No? Can I have somebody approve the minutes? Can I have,
I move to accept the minutes.
thank you, a motion to accept? Thank you very much by Commissioner Richards, second by Commissioner Green. Very good. All right, done. Old business. Oh.
You have to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Gail's going to abstain, I was
Yeah,
not present.
Sure, repeat yourself with that. Very good.
For all business, can I add something to open discussion,
Sure.
donations and flowers?
Okay. So we'll have a motion to accept that. Will be a motion to approve. Aye, unanimous. It is 6:03. Commissioner Senya joining us. Thank you, sir. So you want to go over here? I want to see the back of your head. Your back is being recorded.
I'll sit in the audience.
All right, Ed solves 2 requests as far as flowers and donations. There's a motion to approve. Somebody can make a motion.
I think we have to be verbal for Alina.
Yes, but we have no one's coming on.
Because
So
she's,
Commissioner Green made a motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner LeBrie. This is just. Adding.
yeah,
Very good. All right.
We're gonna start calling it board.
All right. LeBrie. Well, you came so prepared. We won't even do that one. So the front entrance sign, Saul, old business.
You guys have the quotes that we had from the last meeting. Ms. Gill, do you have any updates for us with Ramsey?
yes, I do have some updates. So, I reviewed, thank you for sending that information, Saul, it was very helpful. So, I met with Ramsey and we discussed the process. And he said he was, still interested. So then today I went up to town hall and I met with, planning and zoning, Maureen and, Paul, and they were very, very helpful. to lay out the process, what it would take. And it's pretty significant for those of you who've ever gone to planning and zoning for a variance. It, you know, there's an application fee of $210 just to go for the variance. You have to prove, hardship, for the variance as to why it's needed. That can't be personal or financial.
Really?
It was a learning experience. And then you have to notify all of the, anyone who has property within a 200, I think it was 250 yards or feet. Not just from where you're gonna ask for the variance for the sign, but the whole property, which the Timberland Park entails, and they have a list of it. So let me finish, please. And then, so we have a list of about 70 people you have to notify. So it's quite lengthy. It's pretty involved. So then I went back to Ramsey and I talked with him this afternoon. I told him about my meeting. I told him how extensive it was going to be, because Sal and I had agreed initially that we would help Ramsey with the process. However, this is certainly more than I'm willing to do. I told Ramsey I'd bring it up at the meeting tonight. I don't know if anybody wants to take this on, because it's a significant amount of work to do just to get a variance application in, and then of course, I mean, even proving hardship, I think would be, that's not financial or personal. So that's the scoop. I'm not willing to do any more.
Is he willing to step up?
No, he says fine, but
Then I let it go then.
That I think so, I agree, but I felt like since Saul took the time to get us this information, I wanted to follow through. And I did, I told him that I don't think anybody's gonna help him, he said that.
The falls in his court if he wanted to do. it.
Correct,
That's
and he's, you know, he related a story to me when he had to get his liquor permit some years ago, and he had to go through the same process.
Very good.
Very expensive, so I think that is a dead issue as far as I'm concerned.
Is it possible to put a sign on the entrance road to the clubhouse? Without that, still in the ordinance.
You still have to go.
Very
Well, there was a sign there to his restaurant.
Well, if you're talking about the driveway,
Yeah.
the banners are denied for those. For the driveway,
Yes, Maureen recalled
and
it.
that's.
The banner's going up,
That's been
that was
repeated.
banner, that was years ago, that was banner going up the road.
That was
That's where we
brought
do
up
that for,
recently.
that's correct, we're gonna do that for the Ryan Lee. Tournament, the foundation, and just
Right.
leave them up, and we're also do the 50th anniversary. And that was denied also.
Yeah, she recently let us know about it when we were asking about the front entrance sign, so. I mean, we're thinking about having a sign closer to the courthouse for him, or,
What happened to the sign that he had?
well, there's a sign there, it's very small, I mean, you
Well,
would
but-
see it if you're there by the starter shack.
Yeah, and I think that's fine.
You know,
And that's, okay, but if he wants something else, why is that on us?
It's not,
it's
Okay,
not,
it's not-
it's not, yeah.
but we were willing to
Yeah, no,
help
I
him
understand, is that,
because it was gonna be a win-win. I think, but I think it's more than I'm willing, or I'd say getting commissioner, and I told him that, I said, and he's okay with that.
so if he wanted a bigger sign on that walkway going up, that's entirely up to him, it's not up to us.
Sounds like it's easier for him.
I'm just curious, did McGee ever go for variance?
No, I'm not going there,
For
I'm
their
not
new
even going.
signs?
Yeah.
No, for
McGee
their,
school.
for their banners.
Yeah, probably not.
Oh,
Well, I know the high schools have a banner.
Yeah.
So how is it that they can have that and we can't?
Maybe
Because
they,
What I was told, they didn't ask.
Okay, so they, right, so
Our
is it better,
problem is we asked.
is it better to ask for forgiveness? So what? We just put them up.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We got the answer that we didn't like.
So, but whatever. So if we put them up, what do we do? Something take them down? Because then they have to think everybody's done.
Are we recording?
Yes.
We're not putting
All right, fair enough. Do you want to do the donations? Do you do the packet first, or what do you want to do?
The donation I'm speaking about is for a donation of foursome.
Okay.
Well, that's for open discussion.
Okay,
But I
fine,
can go through that.
that's, we'll go forward. We'll go. Donation packet, that's all business, so everybody was mailed out a donation packet, and then there was another one, later today that Sal mailed, that had basically, looks like a cover letter in there, correct?
Yeah, thanks for your help and put it in the scale. There's a cover letter and then like an order form in the back. We simplified like how many benches and what color, what size you can get. Same for, the signs and the trees kind of. We're making the take from what we think is, what the choices would be. So. Really, we just need to finalize one pricing and what it entails and that cover letter.
So here is that actually Phyllis wrote this, so thank her for that one.
There you go, thanks.
It's amazing, man. There's a cover letter that goes with this thing, and the work that goes into that, I mean, we have to have a very candid discussion about this, and it's great that people wanna, there's a couple things that have to be kind of thought of, and whether we finalize tonight, it doesn't have to be finalized tonight, but at least the groundwork is here. Is, in addition to this, maybe like a memorial wall of some sort, that didn't contribute to, right? Whatever, and you could have different levels at that point in time versus bricks or whatever that we have with the clock. So that, I mean, that's also has to be in the back of somebody, so this is a living document, but going forward, I mean, we have to cover, number one, you need to cover your costs, right? This is not and you're not looking to gouge people, but there has to be. If there's excess funds, it has to go to a reserve account. And I've spoken to Arosh about this, and Saul, I haven't talked to Kevin yet about this too,
Yes,
about putting money into the reserve
we can
account.
have another special account where the excess funds go to, but the language needs to be written up. Just like the T account, there's special language and what that money can be used for. So this account would be for the longevity of the donations, like right now we have a bench that's, you can't even sit on because it's probably dangerous because it's old and it's ready to go, but who's gonna replace it, That's why maybe the pricing is a little high, but the excess money goes to a fund. So when it is time to replace something, you have funds for it.
Or a new donor.
Or that too, but
That's correct.
like what Jim said, you need something to just fill the fund, like what did you call them?
Seed money.
Seed money, and that would be a wall.
Yeah.
Right?
But Gail has a very good point in that you'd have somebody with a new bench coming through the door, but the old plaque doesn't get lost. The old plaque is still on there, right? I mean, so, but it's in pretty, yeah. So the bench itself is not in perpetuity, it's,
It's not safe.
no, it's not, and so you can't have that, right? So it's like, you're right, who's on the hook down to do this? I mean, and the same thing, truthfully, the same thing holds true for the clock. Something happens to the clock. It has to be prepared. I mean, the course, that's part of the course now,
Right.
right? So this, I mean, if we start thinking about this evolving, here's your fund, so to speak, to do things that are out of the norm, right? If need be. So, I mean, and that's something to think about when you're looking at this thing too. And the other part of this is, Sal and I briefly spoke today about this, the base. Now, there's if you look at the differences in what's going on, we have a bench over on the fourth hole that has, cinder blocks underneath, if you will, right? And it's wobbly. I'm not, because it's just the way it is, right? It's just what happens, right? And you have one on 12, that's made of paper, right? That's the Billy McCabe one that's over on the paper. Now that thing is solid as a rock, right? And it's got the it looks like 4x4 6x6 timber around it. So, going forward, do we say that, we have to look at this in long term? I mean, truly long term. So that's already been in there for, I don't know how many years, Billy's been in there, 5, maybe 7 years, maybe.
But
more.
is it the one on number 7? That's nice, one on number 7, because it had the blocks underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7, right? So
7, is it, no, it's on 8.
7 and 8, well, between 7 and 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's it,
Yeah.
those are papers.
Now, the other question, is there a possibility that we have insurance and stuff like that? That is there like in the policy, so when something like that does go down, the insurance would pick up a little bit of the gap?
I'm not
I'm not
sure,
sure, no,
I don't know.
but that should be normal maintenance.
You probably got a deductible that's higher than.
No, some are not
Fixing it.
Done some of
But
that.
I don't think the town's self-insured, the deductible is so high for some of this stuff that it's just not even worth it, right? I mean, something like that. But I don't know what the cost of that is, and so Sal and I were actually speaking about that today, so, I mean, the two extremes at that point, so. You know, my personal feeling, and this is, you know, everybody's got their 2 cents here, is I would deal more towards what's on the the pavers. Right.
Yeah.
And then to do that, you know, I don't know how many come a year, but you do them once a year, so whoever's coming in to do the job. You know, it's not just doing one, they may be doing two or three or whatever, however many we have. Because to do a piece deal, you're gonna pay for every time somebody shows up, right? It's more expensive, but that's just some things that we need to think about and kind of kick around.
I agree with everything you've said. I'd like to move forward, so Saul has a document to work with, and like you said, it can change it or tweak it. I make a motion to accept the package and to give Saul the, authority to move forward with these items.
That's Gil, movie. Second, Luton, very good, that's it, all right. We vote, everybody vote, any
Favor?
against? Unanimous. All right, so. Go ahead.
Couple questions. I'm assuming it's according to the number one, the plaque is 4 inches by 6 inches.
The aluminum one,
Yeah, all of them.
well, and bronze, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't I didn't think it was 4 feet.
So they're the sizing from vital sign.
And under,
Those particular price.
and under 600, it says plaque will be placed around the Timberland T,
There.
hole 17.
We talked about that and then.
No.
Jim also mentioned the wall inside, when we renovate
It's a living document.
the upstairs, the walls. Maybe there's a wall there that we can designate for memorial as well. But I'm definitely in favor of the Timberland 3 on 17.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was trying to clarify, because it says
Yes.
Timberland T on here.
Well, trees.
Sure.
On number 17.
Yeah, 17.
I think another thing also you might want to consider is, it'd be nice to have a retaining wall where the clock is. And Jerry would like to do that at some point, but again, that's gonna need funding, so one thought might be, instead of having a memorial wall inside with two plaques on it that doesn't serve a purpose, having a retaining wall where you could, designate, I know at one point we talked about bricks, but instead of bricks, having a retaining wall where there are pavers within the retaining wall where people can donate, or maybe the top paver, or some way, instead of just having a plaque for the sake of having a plaque, or a wall for the sake of having a wall, make it a useful retaining wall potentially. So just something to consider for the future, with all the projects that are going on, that's certainly not gonna happen soon, but if we keep making funds like we do every year, we might need some money to try something.
Definitely put that in our long term. For
Long term.
either this season, this off season, or the following season.
You have, so what are the thoughts on the bases? Are you guys in favor of the pavers? From 7 and 8, something to that? I mean, going forward, if we're gonna do this, it's long term, right? So everything's uniform, there's no more, there's no more marble granite, because you can't even sit on those in the summer, they're too hot, right? I mean, it's just call it what it is,
Right.
you can't sit on those things.
Papers are nice,
You know, and at least a wooden bench you can sit on, right, without burning yourself, like over the driving range, right? You can't sit on that thing,
No,
it's straight hot. So, I mean, that,
I think they're out of the tracks.
they are tracks, everything's got tracks with stainless steel, and so you've already gotten costs, I mean, I've looked at some costs on some of that stuff. I don't know what it costs to put the pavers in,
For a cement slab, I think that's probably gonna average like, right? A big enough slab. And deep enough. So you-
important, right, so it has to be, right, you have to go down 3 feet or have
If
whatever.
you only got to dig and level the ground, and then then you talk cement, right, so.
Pavers would be less, the timbers like.
The timbers, yeah, they wouldn't be as much work, put it this way, you don't have to go down as deep, right, and if you do
Right.
crushed stone. But whoever's gonna do it would have to do a couple of them at a clip, I mean, it just kind of makes sense.
If you have a couple.
Yeah, you're right, but you'd have to figure out you do it once a year. You know. And then, so the donors know that, and I know it's expensive, I know it is, but it's just. You know, this is what it costs, right, I mean, we're not looking to gouge anybody. But this is what it's gonna cost, because you have to look long, it has to be taken care of down in the future too, so it's either comes out of our budget. Right, or something else.
I think when they also realize some of their money's gonna be there for the future of their donation, like they'll keep it. Really cool, like,
Well, that's why, you know, truthfully, that a wall, whatever, you know, some sort of levels of donations like they have down to the various organizations, you know, bronze, silver, gold, whatever it is, you have your name. And that comes in too, right? Because so people are, you know, passing away and they want, that's something to, you know, the course that they play there every day, like these guys here, right? You know,
I think those two first, like either the tree or the wall and the clock. Those are two nice choices to have.
The tree wasn't Lisa Rusty.
Well,
bless.
I honestly, I haven't got an update on it.
I haven't seen it.
Is she here?
She's here. I understand that she's here, but I.
The only one I know from the three is Mr. Latifah. Jim. He's still interested. Right, he even approached me last week about a bench. So he's still very much interested.
Now you have something to go with.
Yeah, I know, but explain to him what's going on.
He's the only one that's kind
And
of,
that's fine, that's. DJ Karen approached me one time,
Yeah.
and that he wants a tree, you know, for somebody, his family too. And then I would, you know, Gail correctly, because I thought I drank it with a bush. You know, I didn't know it was a tree. It's like, okay, I didn't know that. I did not know that. I learned something.
the trees like, we have to be strategic, right? We're not taking trees out
Correct.
and then we're gonna put trees where we took it out. Right.
And the type of tree.
Maybe these trees we're putting on in the next year or two will not be in play, maybe more like decorative trees here.
And that's fine.
So,
But I think we also have to work out the type of the caliper, there was stuff, listen, there's a laundry list of things.
right,
The caliper, that's gonna be on
Yes,
there, right?
of course.
I mean, it's, and I don't know, you know, I gave you some costs that I made.
kind of the location, that the size depends on it too, right? Like, you can't put a big tree where we put those small trees for the things, but the storage shack, you know, you have to be strategic on the size and get it where you plant it, but I think, as far as planning for the long term, trees for the long term, I don't think these are just.
That's not what you think.
donations. I don't think those are the donations,
Okay,
because I don't wanna be, you know, if we're taking trees out and then, and that's the message we're trying to push, you know.
Why put it
Why
back
put a
in?
new one today?
right there, no, but that's the long-term plan. I mean, that's what we talked about before. Jerry's gonna have a plan of, you know, what's missing, right? And what needs to be taken down, because it's so old now, so, and it's outgrown, it's using, something like the pines, right? And they're doing a lot of destruction, right?
Yeah,
Versus deciduous tree if you want, that's flowering, it could be fruit, whatever, well, I wouldn't say fruit, but usually like a flowering cherry or something to that effect, that's, you know. It's just something different, or maple or whatever,
it's,
but you're looking 30 years down the road, not just right now, you know,
Well-
this is,
30 years,
we'll be dead, let's just call it what it is, right? It's all be
I
dead.
retired, it's not.
You're still working.
It's still working.
Well,
You stop.
all right, so, but you have at least you have a starting point, like, you know, a refined starting point, so then you must have, and everybody's looked at this, and it's got questions on this stuff, any edits on this stuff. All right,
It's not like there's a whole line for this, so.
but the,
We'll see how it goes and.
the Lady Niners could want some of this, you don't want cash either, no
No,
cash, right, everything's check or credit card. Right, check preferably, correct, all right. 3 memorials requested. So,
I said, was the Mr. Matika. You have an update on that, one of them was, Ms. Rusty, I don't really have,
I'll try
much of
to,
an update on that.
I'll try to come in contact with.
And the other one was for, a group of senior men wanted to do something for someone who passed over the winter.
Oh, Joe, John?
Mr. Orlowski, is that how you say it? Bill Orlowski?
I think so.
He was the one who approached me, I sent him our packet, he hasn't really come back with any questions, so.
Thanks.
So just the one right now, with, Mr. Matika.
People are coming to you, but they're coming to,
Yeah,
a board.
right,
They're
there,
right, the way to do.
yeah. So, those are, which I think is the primary. Out of the 3 1 is active.
Okay. New business. Forecast revenue for the course, spend down the budget. So we have P and L, the forecast right here that goes through May. And what, we had a $4,000 deficit at this point, according to this thing. Right? So I talked to Saul this morning and saw when the projections for June. Well, first of all, let me preface this by saying the reason it is what it is we didn't raise our rates, right? Usually, if you look at past history, come May is basically where you start breaking even and making money. So May, actually April, I think in fact April is the month where you start making money or breaking even. And we didn't raise our rates this year, so the cost went up, the revenue basically the rates stayed the same. So it's all based on the amount of play. Play is obviously up, right? Because we've had pretty good weather. So, but as of now, you know, we're in a profit mode at this point in time, Saul, with the amount of rounds and the expenses.
Yeah, I mean, we're having a good end to the cycle. I mean, last year we netted 35K in one
Of this month,
for this month,
Okay.
for June.
for June, really.
I mean, if our numbers and weather keeps going up, I think we'll beat the 33K, but not much.
Okay,
You know, like you said, our revenues have kind of plateaued, but our expenses have gone up, so the difference isn't much this year. Going into June, we were only $4,000, fairly good, you know?
well, in the, all right, we had $4,000 profit.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm reading this the wrong way. I'm profit.
Negative profit, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. Now,
Wait a minute.
this says forecast. Is this actual?
But this is actual now.
Oh, so.
Yeah, well, forecasting, because we're still forecasting, just.
We're forecasting which month?
June.
Which
No, this
numbers
is
are
actual,
in it?
no, but I think
We're in June still,
Right,
right, so.
so I was,
these are actual, Gail.
okay, these are actuals. Okay.
Right,
So so for the month, you had a 45,000, I assume. So year to date, you're in the plus by $4,000, right?
probably that number, yeah.
All right, and then you're estimating that we're gonna have a profit of approximately 36,000.
I would say anywhere from 30 to 40.
Okay. And that money, what's gonna happen with that money? With that,
Well, that will be, for the year will be 40 to,
45,000,
45.
say 40 to 45,000, right? Okay. And what are you gonna do? And what is the plan for that?
well, right now, our capital for a brand new mower was passed, so. This, whenever we're putting away, well, no, I go toward it, because we already have capital for a new mower.
You covered for it, right? Okay.
That was passed in the new budget, thank you, Jared Perry.
Okay,
There's 67K of capital that we're gonna use towards a new mower. And whatever we have left, we'll plan for something else.
and then you're buying a used mower.
We already are.
And that's gonna be delivered when does that come
I
out?
would say within the month.
Okay.
You know. We're trying to see, not to get off topic, but a new mower is probably at least a year and a half away.
Okay,
but we're able to get on the line now, because we have funding. for it. So whatever surplus we're gonna put away, I don't think should be for equipment, because we already have the last two purchases that been for equipment, so. You definitely need to put it away for something.
what else do you need for equipment? That's really what it comes down to. So where is that
Actually,
list?
like fairway mowers. The list is, it's in our long-term, file.
Can I ask a question? What? Now, so the money this year is not going back to the general fund?
Right now, Kevin and I have a meeting to put some money away.
So,
I don't know how much.
so potentially some of this in the black money will go back to the general fund, potentially. You don't
There
know.
is a meeting for that.
So I would just say if there's an agreement that some of the money stays at the golf course, which would be the first time ever, would that be in writing? Because it's never happened.
And we need us, yeah, but we also need to start thinking about a barn that you're running out of time.
Well. My question is, can we just put X money away for whatever future project, or do we have to be specific to what project?
I think that's, I don't know, I thought it was specific.
I think what he's saying, you just put it away, and when we need it, we can grab it.
We're not, no, that's a special reserve, that's,
Or do we have to say?
you have to tell me what you want to put it away for, and you have 5 years in order to do that.
So you can say capital.
But what specifically, and that's why you had that, for the dump truck, the famous dump truck that
This
we own.
goes to the CNR fund,
Correct.
right,
What's
so,
CNR stand?
I'm sorry, I don't know. I just know that's the funds where our surplus has gone, like dump truck and the Kubota. And 50K for the monkeys.
Okay, so he's got his Kubota now, right?
Yeah, we use the dump truck money for this use now.
Okay, Kubota, what about the Kubota?
Kubota's there,
Is he using the Kubota?
yes.
Did he get all his toy parts with this thing too? I mean, really, I mean,
No, it's.
right, that's what he wanted.
What we needed for the Kubota.
That's fine, listen, I can care less, but you know,
The dump truck, we were waiting too long, so we took the initiative of using it for a used one.
you didn't need a dump truck, you could rent one for you.
Well, we talked about it in the group and we all,
All right, so how about setting a reserve now for a barn or something, because if we're in year 2 of this lease, right? Of this,
yeah,
it's a 5-year lease, but after 4 years, they're gonna say, well, it's the 5th year. How much does I gave information to this already on what a new barn roughly costs, right? Then you have to worry about solar. Right, if we're gonna put solar on there, and the more you think of that, it sounds great until somebody hits a ball and cracks one of the things, because you see the guys on 10P, right?
well,
No, I'm just, listen, this is reality, right? I mean, this is so.
You can probably put those. Wish up, the mesh up there. So
That-
we'll hit-
When it all comes in, it all comes into the fee, I mean, it's all money, it's all part of the cost.
what would everyone like, where can we say, car bar, what do you guys feel?
That's what's used for, just for cars.
No, the car barn he's talking about, it's to store carts and have electric carts.
Instead of gas
Gas
carts, to move
carts.
away from gas carts to get electric.
And obviously indoor keeping would keep the carts, longevity cleaner and nicer.
And right now, you're renting a place that they store that?
No,
it's
they store
Outside, it's all year round.
And we can't have GPS unless we have a barn.
Or they need like a screen, like a TV screen.
Like,
And you're thinking of the location, what, over the
But
maintenance
that's
field?
secondary, we're.
Yeah, I know,
But
it's-
location, I've been asked, they've been mentioned 3 different locations.
Yeah.
One is where it is now, one is where the lower parking lot, by the first lower parking lot by the temple.
There are probably town engineers that have a better idea of where it could or should go based on the structure and get their input versus.
I mean, that has more like probably smarter input than myself, and where it could go into the best place.
Engineers, that's their job,
Because there's electrical,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you need power.
Figure out the site.
so.
but yeah, I think.
My recommendation would be to have the category be as broad as possible, so
Sure.
you're not locked into.
Sure.
Like dump, and then you don't need the dump. Well, you know, cardboard, and then you decide to do something else. So I don't know if the fund can be capital improvements.
Or new building, fund,
Or
new building.
It's
Something
Yeah.
bigger,
broad.
we bet 40K, right? 50K. So you treat gang, I don't even know how much of that we can put away, right? I mean, I wish I could tell you all of it. But like, with what Gail just said a couple minutes ago, we've never tried this. before.
Well,
Or
we always ask,
no,
but
it's
it's never,
never successfully happened. So.
so we fund the general fund every
We'll
year.
see, yeah, that's what happens, so.
Adds to the general fund every year.
So I think that barn should be sold. Right, and you know, you would think there's gotta be some money around somewhere in the state or.
It's being grant, we need to.
Yeah, right.
To go green.
Go solar,
Yeah.
go green.
That's definitely one of my tasks over the winter is to put some time into that. Not to say we have a full-time grant writer here, but at least some of the pros in the area have probably gone through it, and we can see what the process they went through, so maybe how we did, or someone, you know, I don't. So we'll figure that out over the week, right? Putting money away. We'll see how much we'll put away.
As far as the costs go. You can talk to that gentleman there. I kind of briefly spoke to him. About the costs. And he'll tell you exactly, he'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Right, the costs, whether you go with him or not, with you, it's not going with him, but
You mean cost for the new leads?
no, costs for what, the structure,
Yeah,
you know, the soul, whatever, and, because he's gone through this stuff. And he's, you know, depending on how many parts you want,
right.
they'll be able to tell you. And give you the information that you need, so here's the specs that you're gonna need in order to do something like this, be it open barn or closed barn, it doesn't
Well,
really
we got
matter.
what, 80, what we got 85 or 85?
85,
so
right?
we don't need to know that.
I have no idea, but I don't know.
85 is enough.
So you only have that much. For maybe a couple of weeks.
Right.
Okay, very good.
I have a question on the actual, year to date for May. So that's this, that's the percentages.
Oh, wait a minute, all right,
Yeah.
Oh, with P on it.
Yeah, you know what, because, we're, our revenues are less than budgeted by about 250K, but our expenses are less than budgeted by about 240K. Are there, how do you think you're gonna end the year, because there's funds in some of these line items that I question whether you're gonna be able to spend it, because this is through May, so you only have 1 more month. So, for example, like wages and salary, still got 93K in there. And fringe benefits, 34K. There's still a lot of money in the current budget. So I don't know.
I mean, the salary, I mean, for last month was 80, we have a new employee this month, so that should probably be more than 80. So. With us only being 4K in the good this month, I mean. We try to use as much of our budget as possible. I mean,
But you're probably gonna end with some money in the budget.
oh, yeah, but definitely, it was definitely used more than last year.
Yeah. So we're gonna be also giving that back to.
Oh, that's part of your 40K or, you know, projected 40K. Oh,
Oh, you've included the unspent budget as part of it.
well, I mean, you,
Or you're-
I guess I'm just, when I say 40K, I'm just talking budget money.
So ballpark, 40K. Some,
So
but
how
the
much more
unspent.
unused?
And then I just also just had another question going back to the page that's slightly forecast, even though it's actual. Under July, fringe benefits 100,000. Why was it so much in that one month?
Wasn't there an insurance payment there that?
I can ask, I mean, these are just numbers I get from the
Yeah,
P&Ls that we get every month.
yeah, it's just like every month it's usually 8, 9, 8,000, 7, 8,000, but in July. This past year, you look under July, right at the beginning,
Yeah, there was that big payment.
what's the big payment for?
I think there was an insurance payment of some, I don't know,
Okay.
that's what
It
it's
just
about.
jumped out at me because
Yeah.
it's so much different than every other one.
What's in the free balance?
What's that?
Well, like insurance, workers' comp.
Yeah.
Fringe.
It's all free.
Yeah.
Now, I looked at the 23 profit and loss that we had,
Yeah.
from the old one, and so it was basically $40,000, right? And that's really that, so it's spot on with what he's saying, that he's looking at, that's saying, but, our revenue is up and our expenses are up, right? So it. We'll have to
In
wait.
different amounts.
Yeah. Yep,
Well, actually, our revenue is less than our budget, and so is our expenses.
yeah, but that's budgeted for the year, so that's.
That meant for the year.
Yeah, but you haven't taken into account.
I'm talking about the year.
Yeah. I haven't looked at, which the revenue for, the
No,
month of.
finance department, yeah.
June. If you look at that, and I look at this, it's well over $200,000, so you're gonna be right spot on it. What we're looking at. Right, you're about 200,000 short. Of the budget for the revenue, correct? Two and change.
Year to date, right.
Yeah, so, yeah, so that's, if you look at this, I don't think it's 250, but it's probably about 225 in that area, but we'll have to wait and see. All right. So that takes care of the spend down and the budget itself, so. But they know that we can put money aside, right?
Yeah,
And you're gonna have a meeting with Kevin on that, and then I think you can also talk to Jerry Barris on that also.
Kevin's my, he's my point of connection.
And well, it can't hurt to talk to Jerry when he comes up too, that here's what we're looking at, how do we put this stuff aside, because there's an open window from my talking to him. That you have, even after the fiscal year ends, because they close off your budget yet, as far as spending goes, right? You already closed down, you can't buy, there's no new purchases, it's
Right.
bucks.
Right.
Yeah, right,
Already.
it takes a week to close the books.
No, I know,
So,
sometimes you
no.
don't post until July.
Yeah, no, not,
Well, it's about it, you know.
yeah. Municipal, state, same. That's why you gotta kind of load up. Okay, orders meeting update.
So, to print out the red and blue, that's the updated wording that Erosion is putting in this ordinance. I don't think there's anything else stated.
Well, it's a significant change,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we didn't know there was that the golf. That this ordinance was on the ordinance committee meeting on June 4th, so. I guess you said you weren't informed until late. Of course, we weren't informed, so we
Should have
didn't,
been invited.
we didn't know, so. Saul didn't, you didn't know about it. We didn't.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to it. No. Did I know about it? No,
You didn't know about it.
I know that he was revising it,
Well,
and he was gonna bring it up to.
yeah, I'm a little disappointed that we weren't aware that this was on the ordinance committee, so it's something we talked about.
We taught you, we have talked about this, so.
And when you look at
Since
the
I don't need
change,
to like tell everyone,
well,
we're under the same calendars, no.
well, yes, because you're, in my opinion, you're our liaison with the town, so if there's something going on, I mean, I don't think we're gonna keep checking the website for meeting agendas. But it sounded like you weren't told until last minute, or you didn't know, I don't know, but there's a significant change when you read if the actual revenues at the end of the fiscal year are less than expected, appropriate action shall be taken. I'm not sure what that means. To ensure the revenues during a 3-year period, including the year of deficit, exceed the expenses for the same period. Within 45 days of the end of the fiscal year, in which the expenses exceed revenue, the commission shall present to the town council the commission's plan to ensure that revenues will exceed expenses for the given period. That is all brand.
And that's what we were being asked for. So that's the rolling average for 3 years, that's what that's saying,
Oh,
that's exactly what that's saying, so you have a rolling average of 3 years, so you can go back and forward. It's not like you have to go forward, so if you're looking, we've been looking at this thing, just kind of bring you up to date, because. We've been going back and forth at this, we've had to cover our, since our inception, we've had to cover our costs, that was the whole idea, trying to raise the rates. And in doing so, a lot of times, the golfers have been funding the town budget, we'll just say that, because the excess funds have been going into their fund. Some prior years, the golf course was in a loss, so we said, listen, why don't we funding our showing a profit? We said, we just have to cover our costs, that has been the premise all along, but we've always built in a cushion, right, so. And so we got to the point where we're talking to the mayor and town manager, and says, we need to come up with something, and so. We suggested a 3-year, even Mark said this, the mayor said this, a 3-year rolling average. And that's what this is saying, so it's not only going forward, there's a look back. There's this year, and you can go back 2, or you can say this year, go back 1 and next year, so if you had a profit. Last year of $50,000 and we have a loss this year of $25,000, and guess what, it's fine, so as long as you have a
That
loss,
like you read
that's
this
that's
as a
exactly,
rolling-
yes,
Yeah, I didn't read it as a rolling average.
that's what that is.
It doesn't say that.
That's what that is.
I'm with you, but
But I'm just telling you, that's what that is.
cover me back.
Well,
And look forward and look back, that's what that is.
so for example, this year, if we don't meet our expenses, within 45 days, we have to come up with a plan to the town on how we're going to meet expenses.
No, if the actual revenues at the end of any fiscal year are less than the expenses, appropriation actions shall be taken to ensure that the revenues during a 3-year period, including the deficit period, exceed the expenses for the same period. That's what that's telling you.
Like, if you lose.
If you're looking back, so as long as in that 3-year period, you're showing a profit or breaking even, then you're covered. That's what that's saying.
And so this would be retroactive, because last year we had a profit, and the year before
For
we
that,
had
get
a
a
profit.
profit, and the year
So
before
we
that.
technically, we could
we
actually
can
lose
That's
money.
correct.
for a few
That's
years.
correct.
Would be okay?
That
I
is
just want
correct.
to make sure they're on the same page.
Yeah,
as well.
that's not how I read it, but if that's what
That-
looks
That
like,
needs to be confirmed with Jerry.
That's,
that's how you believe it, then.
yes, within 45 days at the end of any fiscal year, where your expenses exceed the revenue, the commission shall present to the town. They plan to ensure that revenues will exceed expenses and the given for the given 3-year period. Well, that doesn't.
Yeah, so we don't, so if we lose money and we have had a profit the 2 previous years, we don't need to present a plan.
Correct. Or you just say, you don't have, the plan is, we've already done it, we've covered our costs, that's what that means. Questions? All right. Maintenance of memorial sites. I think that is-
That was one of the.
I wrote,
Okay,
yeah, I brought that up because. Like around the flagpole stuff, in Beachville, and tire, so, and. One of our senior members from Saul about it and. About the golfer, he's out cleaning up the thing, and what. This member said, maybe you said better not. So we said that,
I said that.
so, yeah, that's the impression we got.
okay, all right.
So therefore, it didn't get done.
I told the customer he shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, he should
Because,
have
What's that?
volunteered.
okay, and that's what I was trying to bring up in this. Okay, what's considered volunteering and what's considered a union?
If you're doing a job that's under their union pass. That's a problem. In my
Okay,
experience, I've never tried it. People prior to me tried it, and I think it didn't work out, right?
That's right. Well, that's when we came to them with the request to do the.
Yeah, I'll email you the memorandum, I think you emailed me the volunteer memorandum.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of unfortunate that we did get an exception one year for us to
did so, to do some volunteer work.
Remember that? I was there.
It was a memorandum of understanding, but this goes back to, I think, back to 2018. And this was what was agreed upon. But I don't know if there's still an option to do that.
So we can do things like clean up benches that are.
No,
No.
unless we have, this is a 1 year, this was a specific memorandum for
Right,
that
yeah.
timeframe.
That was a weekend thing that went out, where they had people come in and volunteer, and that was it.
It actually was a 1 day,
One day
That's
thing.
right.
and there were 2 volunteers.
Actually, I like cleaned up, I did clean up. I
I
did,
was-
I mean.
I
You
was-
were not, we were the 2
But I
volunteers.
also cleaned up over by the flagpole that.
I was on 15, but we posted.
And it was, and we did all the malls.
So I think
That
the
was
point,
quite good, yeah.
it seems to me though, what you're trying to say is, could we approach the union again with this, knowing that you have this, and I could send this out to the group?
I think, Go ahead, Simon. Sorry.
Yeah, in the last meeting that we had last month, I asked, if you could talk to Steve Wood to see whether or not, public grounds would take care of the clubhouse, because it is public grounds. Any word from Steve, or is he still thinking about it, or?
He was going to give us flowers. But Jared was too late to get them, they were too late.
But I'm thinking about the maintenance up there of cleaning up, like pulling the weeds and all that area, because it is public grounds. He cuts the grass over at Crystal Creek. Right?
I'm sure if it was public grounds, they would have done it.
I don't think they're gonna do anything unless you ask.
Well, then how can we,
So you're
If you
telling me
can't
like all
volunteer-
these years, they just gonna, I'm not gonna do something.
They've never done.
but.
Well, my thing is, I don't think they were asked. I don't think anybody went to them and said, well, can you do this and do that? Because like I said before, when they were talking about the dump truck, why do we need to buy a dump truck when we can go to the town and say we need a dump truck for the day? If it's part of the town, bring a dump truck up, we need it for the day. And I think if they probably go to the town and say to them, Public Works, can you come over here, can you do this and do that? And if you don't ask questions, you're not gonna get answers.
And you probably have to be very specific.
Exactly.
You know, they're not gonna mow because if we have grounds crew.
Right.
But are there certain things like we're talking about around the clubhouse, like they take care of the beautiful plantings we have here out front and in front of the library?
Right.
Would they consider doing that for the clubhouse for Timberwood Park?
Because they
It's
got,
the park in which people who use the park also come in and use the facilities, the bathrooms and whatnot. So why wouldn't they do what they do for the library, for our public
Right.
park?
because they have got the whole fence more in there, they cut on that bank. And then they used to cut around the ponds. So I mean, yeah, they got the equipment, they should use it. Instead, take a day to bring it over here.
The golf grounds crew can't do it?
No, I didn't say that.
They haven't.
Oh, they're just busy.
Yeah.
I think their priority is greens, the fairways, the
Right.
tees, and certainly the plantings, and that's last on the list, and sand trap bunkers, all of that's their priorities.
Because it-
State golf course.
Right, because basically they're all in the same league.
No, I just,
So, I'm just gonna throw this out there, so, the Goosenator. That's volunteerism.
He signed a piece of paper that says he could do it.
But that's not something that Masons do.
Right.
Either,
Why not?
because they don't have a hallucinator. They don't run the hallucinator, they didn't have one prior, it's not something like.
They could, they could,
It's not rocket.
but
Well, but are they, again, in the scheme of mowing the grass, mowing the greens, taking care of the bunkers, rolling the greens, cutting, all that. Is the hallucinator gonna fall to the bottom of the list like the lack of flowers and lack of weeds on some areas?
we don't want that to happen, because golfers are not gonna put up with the goose.
So maybe we should just do the volunteer thing then.
Maybe we should do the volunteer thing, maybe once a month.
Well, they agree with it. They agree with it.
Yeah, they agree with it.
Right,
We did that one
there you
time.
go.
And then they can do it for everything.
Yeah, it's only for a couple of months.
Right, in April through November,
That's fine.
and,
Go ahead.
it's very
Do
specific.
you wanna get some of your gang ready?
Sure.
Or whatever, you wanna take volunteers?
It's a gang,
You know what, and then, but no, honestly, like it's,
Yeah, if you want to agree, then let it.
Right.
It'd probably be a good. We'll just do it.
So how many employees do we have in the union? You have to, they're all up there, even the part timers in the union too. Okay, right.
They pay the 7%. So yeah, like you said, that, go with it, let them agree with it. and
What
then
do you
take
want
it.
to volunteer for? What do you want to do?
well, yeah,
Or
clean up the plantings and things.
Yeah, well, you can do what,
No,
I mean, you have a precedent
Pretty,
here.
pretty much
When
clean
you
up
trim
the
sod around the tree yardage, concrete plates. You could add the big oil, fill, and the maintenance and planting beds is directed by the golf course staff, I mean, they can tell us. What they can get
So
to.
we're not gonna use equipment, but the thing is, that's it.
So,
Of course, the towns are like that. It's
so our own little, gloves and.
Okay.
It's like a weed wax. You know, it's a simple tool, but you know, maybe nothing, no heavy machinery,
No, you can't use any
No.
machinery.
no, in general.
No.
You know, like, you might get a stick up your eye or something.
Right.
It's
No, hand tools, right? I mean, so what are you trying to do? You're not digging out stumps or anything
No,
like
that's,
that.
he's talking
You're
about.
raking and planting, I mean, that's basically what you're trying to do, right? Now, how about the,
Beautification.
yeah, but then if that's the case, you know, you start talking about yard signs that are down, right? I mean, they've basically cut those out,
Yeah,
one
they've cut
fifty,
it
right?
down.
And kind of did that, then I think it's still, they're missing, or the holes that someone's gonna, you're gonna get triple full on the sprinkler heads, because they're not marked. They're not by the greens, they're just not, and, you know, it's a quick fall over and. You know, that's a lawsuit waiting to I know it's waiting to happen.
Well, let's make a game plan on what the volunteer work is, you know, we can't be like
Okay, I'll
this
put
broad
something
where,
together.
you know.
Can I borrow that?
And you have
That
to
looks like
have
something-
volunteer sign
Yeah.
releases.
Let's see.
Oh, that's what you would have to do, I mean, if you're gonna volunteer, you have to send a release.
Correct.
Like, to come in and do it, you know, and that would make more sense.
Also, let me take a picture. After the movie.
Because you also have the flowers down by the front, right?
We don't have any fun.
Well, just
They
like,
died. Jerry had them, they died, right?
but just like.
Was that true? And then they get watered?
So say that again,
Jerry had the flowers or plant, they died,
oh, we never went together,
so they died.
It's,
now we're gonna go to Home Depot and get some.
it's, the complaint I heard, with the woman pregnant, around where the grill was outside. As you come up, where the tent is, they didn't like the idea because all the weeds and stuff were there.
That's one area that needs
That
work.
needs to
By
be
the
attention
fence.
there,
Yeah.
that's where volunteer, that's a good place to start right there,
Right, the
right
radius,
there,
Grass was that
Right
high? Yeah.
right, but they were complaining about that.
that all needs to be.
There's some flowers in there, but they need to pull the weeds. And that'd be a good spot.
Something. Start there,
So bring the top in there.
from the senior memorial and various.
Let's just start around the clubhouse.
Exactly.
Right, I mean, I think
Yeah.
the ladies are gonna maintain the faith of those planting ends around the
Yeah.
sign,
Sign.
That looks great.
yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
because
good sign.
that's, they did themselves.
Right.
You put mulch.
Right.
The mulch looks, no, that looks nice. Different rock looks nice. Different mulch.
No, one thing
Get the
that,
garden club to do that.
Well, that was the whole idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the garden club used to come up in there.
I'm not trying to like put this all on the ground crew. We've been having some issues with irrigation.
Yeah,
They're trying
they've been
to,
busy.
they're trying to fix, you know, some heads out there, so. I'm not saying they don't have time, their
Well,
time
that's,
is very valuable,
Yeah.
of course.
yeah, of course.
Right, and
Like
they have a
that's-
priority.
Yes, but we have our whole staff back now. So there should be more bodies for tasks. But let's try this, I'm for it, so.
And I think at the end of the day, you appreciate it because it's making them look good. And look, the volunteers, they're making everybody look good, it's like a thing. Just get the job done.
That's it.
So they don't knock on my door.
One thing I found interesting is that we talked about the potholes in the driveway coming in. Okay, and you said you marked them and you never, that we had maintenance and we can fix them.
They fixed it.
I called up,
Oh,
I called,
out there.
and then like, yeah, a day or two after, they were there and we fixed them.
So I mean, it's,
What would you call the town?
Highway, I think, or-
highway,
Is that-
it's gotta be highway,
Oh, that's-
yeah, 'cause they came out. But I was
Yeah, they
talking to-
switched me over to the department.
Yeah.
But anyway, within a day or two, it's done.
Good work.
So I think that's why there's no communication going on.
Yeah, but it helps for us to call in,
Right.
if we see something that needs. We should do it. Call in and.
Are there other holes in the parking lot down there?
Down here, you come in,
I-
you got potholes.
Yeah, potholes,
Yeah.
The
So they
potholes,
fix
as you
something.
come by the ninth green, you know, right off of the
Yeah.
ninth green, onto the road, it was 5 or 6 minutes.
Cause one of the guys, he's in the league. Yeah,
Five, we already discussed, we already got through that, right? We could discuss that before, as far as the revenue portion, we'll spend down. Open discussion, boys high school team,
They're, for the first time, they're gonna have summer practice. Coach Ferraro approached me and asked if they could practice twice a week. I said, I'll give them a big bucket for their 2-hour practice. And if we can fit them on the course, we'll have them on the course. Some of those kids haven't seen the passes already, so. And he's saying that he doesn't expect the full team to be there on summer, so.
well, as far as the range goes, I mean, you still have to have slots for people up on the hit.
I asked
And
them
that-
to
that's-
always leave spots open for us. Even like when they get range balls, I asked only coaches get it, so our staff is not like trying to figure out who's in this game or not.
So did we get the door applied for the girls, distinction?
You know what, Sammy, I'll follow up on,
We access 2024.
That's right, it's gonna be added to this stuff, you know, it's nice.
Hey, can I just acknowledge and thank Gail for you paid for everything with the clock, because actually it was a great day, great morning. Right? It was nice, very nice.
And I think Brent Ramsey did the coffee in on his own, that was his contribution.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for doing that. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, it was.
And, no, it was great. It was a great morning. It really was. There was a lot of people there. And, no, it was nice. It was nice.
Mayor, town manager,
Yep. We were represented from, the commission, so it was good. Except for these two guys. He's like.
I know, I got a little stuff.
He's like, he always left. Okay, promoting the Walter Lowell Award. You got that.
Yeah.
What's law one?
yeah,
That was one you emailed, yeah.
right. Right, that's something that to really promote the chorus. I mean, we won this special award, it's something unique, say we can have it. We can get that with the paper, with the local rag or the public hearing, something that people can see it, the Red Herald.
It was posted on social media. Deirdre posted on social media with this nice picture of the mayor, I don't know if you saw it.
No, I'm not on social media.
Yeah, so that was posted. I included it, I sent 2 press releases to the Berlin Citizen about the plaque donation. And I included that in it because it really ties in to what they started 50 years ago with Don Paris and Lindsay and Al's Chorus and the original folks who developed the course. And the fact that it currently was, received this award, so that tradition continued. They didn't print the first press release. I sent one, the actual, with the mayor and all of us that were there. We'll see tomorrow, because I think the citizens will make today because of But, I have to say, I'm a little disappointed that the Berlin citizens, since the new owners seems to print very, very little local news. There's no more editorial, so I have sent 2 press releases.
Thank you for doing that.
I think we did.
But I agree with you, it should be promoted. It's a very prestigious award for Scott, so. If there's any other way to promote it, that would be great.
It definitely also went through its cycle with the CTPJ promoting it. Through their social media and email was, I'll see if Adri has some connections with the Herald or the Berlin Citizen. See what's going on.
Special, we'll come back to that. The special events on tax facility, I don't know what that is. So, excuse me, special event on tax facility. There you.
I wasn't here.
Oh, that was.
Oh, no, yes, that's someone.
I was thinking, of what special event are you talking about? Oh, well, I just wanted to say that, one day, it was right after our last meeting. Jimmy and I were at the, course, and, I just went to hit a few balls. And when I got to the range, Rumsey's party was out on the practice green and in the range, and there were several children out in the range picking up balls and filling the trays at the range. Okay, so no one could hit it, and then finally those children came off. I didn't say anything because I feel it was my place, but there were also adults milling around there. They all had cocktails, and we tried to, I had gotten a bucket of balls, and I went up there and I tried to hit, but they were making comments and they were just joking. They had a couple of drinks, but it was distracting. I really couldn't concentrate on what I was trying to do. I don't know if it's something the commission wants to get involved with, or, definitely talk to Rumsey about, or, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys how to handle it.
I will definitely, if it's on a golf facility, you have to inform the golf shop. And let us handle it. Even if I'm not here, they're gonna call me right away and we're gonna handle it.
Right.
We're a public facility, so it's tough to say who can be there and not, because technically anyone can be there.
Right, that's why I didn't want to say anything, but
And
at the same
You're
time,
also,
they're not hitting any golf balls.
Right, I mean,
then-
partying by the clubhouse in the tent around the porch is one thing,
Right.
when, that's the.
And I think that was more in the parent itself.
Yeah, for sure.
If something would have happened, it would have been on the parent. Because the parent allowed it to happen.
Luckily, there are parents there,
There were parents out there,
but I think we call the shop,
Call
whoever
the shop.
is experiencing that, should call the golf shop
All right.
and let us handle it.
I've called the stop at that real times, and I've called Gary if I've seen something unsafe on the course, and it's been appreciated.
Yeah.
Because they can't be eyes and ears all the time.
Well, if-
Call the golf shop.
I think I remember this day,
yeah,
because the word got around and I think that it was mentioned to me that afternoon what was going on. And I spoke to Remedy the day after, and he kind of said the same thing, like he had to take control of that situation a little bit.
Yeah.
So like, just let us know and we'll send Jimmy Green out there.
yeah, and one other issue that I was thinking of, as a season pass holder, I call in for tea times, and invariably there's a lot of tournaments going on, and I understand that I'm not privileged to those times, but if I had a listing of when those tournaments were, I could send the girls at the desk, a lot of work, a lot of answering phones, you know?
Well,
The
the
calendar
calendar
said
show
it.
every, like, nooks and crannies. It tells me the major ones, like, when we're closed, or when senior events are, and Myers are. But it doesn't
What-
tell you
what
if
the-
Joe Smith has a 16 group.
Yeah, but that
No,
doesn't, that doesn't block the day, that's not
I
gonna
don't think
affect
he's
that.
talking about that,
No.
he's talking about major tournaments.
That's on there, that's on the calendar.
On the calendar,
Every
But
first
that's
of the
it.
month in the newsletter, has a
Okay.
calendar,
It's also on our notes, or minutes.
and in your minutes, maybe not this month, because
Last month, that.
alright.
Mark, it's usually
The
Mark.
last,
Mark
yeah,
is
Mark sends on that, I just.
I was just saying, I think
And it's in the monitor,
is it on the website?
maybe,
Alright,
Is it, I guess that's like.
it's in the.
Oh, and I think it's on the
Outside.
that's right, I think it's on the men's one too. It's on the outside, yeah.
Oh, yeah, nothing, but there is one,
Right,
but I'm open to having a discussion this winter on how busy you are with events. I mean, you probably have to
Well-
talk about it soon.
well, you know. I feel like there's an awful lot of events and you know, I can't,
Right now, I can't change the schedule.
no, I'm not asking you to, but
We'll have to talk about it.
I just thought, you know, my season pass, you know, is devalued by,
Well, You're
No.
not the only one expressing those, feelings, but
Yeah.
that's why I'm open to talking about it.
Would be helpful, maybe as in the fall, for us to have a list. You know, of it, so, you know, how many there were,
Okay.
that were either, you know, full day or half day or something. You just pull it off the calendar, then we
Yeah.
could evaluate in the fall
We'll
and
get,
say, do we
Yeah,
wanna
that's-
have that many next year, do we wanna
Right.
limit it, what are the implications of that?
Well, it's a financial cost to that too.
is it, yeah, that's the problem, that's what it,
I know.
the financial.
I understand.
That's what I mean by implications.
Yeah, because
I
what would,
understand that.
but what would happen, your season pass would go up.
Or I'm supposed to get rid of the season pass and just say, let's get a benefits card, and there's no season pass anymore.
Right, that would be
You
the
know,
idea.
if I look at the, and let's just call it what it is, so. You already know who's paying what per round, another round, so. Right, I mean, at that point, you say, listen, I'm losing money, right? I mean, I hate to say
There's
that,
some
but
season
it's
pass
fair.
holders, yeah, I'm losing my shorts to them.
Right.
You know, I mean, no, I mean, I'm not.
There's not much of the opposite, like, we don't win out of season pass much.
No.
We usually lose. So. When we have these events, when Mark scheduled these events, he's thinking of maybe the other side of where, revenue is.
Revenue's coming in.
It's pretty much.
Subsidizing this year.
That's absolutely correct.
But he's still thinking of going daily play, right? I mean, if he didn't care, we'd have it every other day, because we could, because there's enough people to build, so we don't, we still value your days. But you also have to put the fact that Monday, Tuesday, senior days in the morning, Thursdays, Niners.
Right.
Right?
You have a different, yeah, but that's not, they're in the one, but they're not blocking off everything.
No, but they
That's what it
take
is.
one side of the course, right? So everyone's on one side.
Yep, right, so.
And some of the Niners men fall on the 18-hole side, so there's less sometimes there too, right? So.
But that's only until a certain point, period of
Yeah,
time.
so like-
Usually the tournaments are on Fridays, correct?
No.
A lot of the tournaments are on
Well,
Fridays.
this year, there's some on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right,
There's a Friday.
I've been on the phone like
I
crazy.
think the only day we have
This
this
is-
is on Thursday.
This is the first year that, since I've been there, that we had a Wednesday and a Monday.
And a Friday.
Friday normally is always Friday, mostly Friday.
That's what it
But
was.
in one week.
Always
yeah,
Friday,
one
yeah.
day was
But this is a bonus, I mean, we're making that together.
That's right now.
Yeah, that's-
I can
But
look
like-
on, the website, you said?
Sorry.
Or I could look on the website to find out, what tournaments are going on that month, or?
We have June's last, I mailed it out last month.
Yeah, there's a couple ways to get it.
Sentence.
One is in your packet for this meeting,
Oh, okay.
usually.
Was
Another
it
is
this one?
in the newsletter that we send out every month, first of the month. And another is like, just, or you go into the locker rooms and it's printed there.
Because like the town of Meredith, they don't have a seat,
This is the Britain.
they took that out.
No, it's all right.
Took it out too.
I think it's,
One thing-
they have a benefits card.
For residents. gets a percentage off.
Right,
And one fee, a big percentage off.
right.
So. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. Hey,
You want to you
understand, I'm low man on the totem pole.
You put it up, you put it up, but you gotta, you know,
right now, I.
think this through.
Some cross holders have really good deal rate.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Especially with residents,
Yeah,
so,
but the same token. this-
but that's a perk of being a resident,
That's correct, yeah,
we value that,
that's correct.
and overvalue it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on.
No, you sure?
Y'all got this letter?
From,
Yeah.
I originally denied it because it's not in town, they're not doing it at the courts. A letter went out to one of the council members, which went to a roadshow, which is going to you now, so let's discuss it. I don't care what happens, just let me know what y'all wanna do.
Who's Peter?
He is one of the council
Russo.
members.
Oh,
Is it?
Peter Russo.
I haven't been. But you obviously read the story to it and, yeah, Russell, Peter Russell.
He wants to raffle something. Display here.
Yeah, we
That you're- that
basically,
You're giving, raffle it over there.
I'm gonna give him like a $250 value. 4 golfers, 2 cards, Monday to Friday, 18 holes. So they
Sure,
should,
there's not a tournament.
I'm not sure,
Well, they have to follow.
yeah.
So you're aware, our policy traditionally has been that we get a lot of, oh, no, we don't get that,
A lot.
we get
A lot.
some
A lot of
requests
requests like this,
for,
so the
for
policy should
donate,
know.
no, let me finish, so that, for donations for various charity events, churches, et cetera. And our rule of thumb has been if it's a Berlin, organization, a Berlin church, a Berlin school, a Berlin not-for-profit, we approve them.
Usually means that.
I gotta bring it up to.
Yeah, and they're usually in Timberland, I don't know if we've ever approved them elsewhere, we may have if there was
St.
a
Paul's.
yeah, if there was a Berlin connection, and we were approving each one, but then Saul now, we've given him the directive, it's my understanding that if it's a Berlin not-for-profit, that he just does it, and so it sounds like he denied this because it was not this organization. What is the organization? I don't see it.
It's more of it's not an organization, it's a family.
It's a,
So,
Young children of an ex-Berlin person who's dead.
that's correct.
no, I understand that, so there's no not-for-profit organization that's requesting this.
Just for the educational costs of the kids, future education, so it's going to the family.
I mean, if that's the case, I think, it's very sad, and very tragic. We potentially could be opening ourselves up
For
for,
a lot
For
more.
more.
Personally trying to stay consistent, where clearly it has to be from in town, or else I'm even bringing it up to.
to us, right?
Let's look at it 2 other ways, I mean, if we do go with it, I mean. Down the road, would they come and support Timberland? I mean, there's a lot of stuff to look at this, because, we don't wanna say no. Because someone may wanna do something to someone else and bring it to us or stuff like that, I mean, there's always the doors open up, but I mean.
It has happened, like Kensington, St. Paul's, they asked for it last year, but. We said, okay, but give me a meeting to have the,
And this guy still lives in town,
someone else, but.
that's the
They also
father, right?
brought their outing this year to us.
Right.
They came for a meeting. But here it says, again, I'm not trying to sway anyone, but it says, it's in,
The wife decided that though.
because that's where they're from.
Right.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're pretty set at Thompson, because that's where they're from.
Well, actually, no, they're not from,
That's where they live now.
that's fine, but he was from here,
No, yes.
you know. Is this Kevin? Chris, I know Kevin,
His father still lives in town, the guy who wrote this letter.
yes,
Sounds like it.
yes, he does.
You want somebody rolling around town saying that, they're shysters?
Exactly, that's what, you know, that's what I.
That's what I.
So maybe you can also talk to them and say, listen, if this is the case, then, you know, maybe you wanna come here next year, we give it to you, then.
No, I don't think we're shysters because
No, we're
if
not
we
shysters.
set a
Right.
policy that we're giving these donations, which as you said is a $250 value to not-for-profits in Berlin. Because we would be in it, I mean, we get some
We get
from
them all.
Cromwell and West Hartford and New Haven and all of those places.
I will say we denied someone a couple of meetings ago where their organization wasn't here when they were.
Right, we've
Yeah,
Yeah, we
denied,
did deny that.
we have denied residents because the organization is not located in town or is gonna benefit town. I feel bad.
And that's why I'm saying, I feel bad because the city, I just say, I need $250. And it's not a really lot of money. I mean, but I know everybody else will probably come in, but you know, like, just maybe go for it this time and see how it goes the next, I mean, I just feel bad when people, something like
I
that.
don't want that guy walking around town saying,
No,
I
I,
give something for instead of something. I don't like that,
So-
that doesn't set well.
So any time our policy doesn't work for someone, they'll just write a letter, then we're.
No, I'm not saying that, I just always.
Well, you're making a valid point, right?
If that what we're gonna do.
I'm just saying, this guy lives here and his son's
No, I
dad,
know, but like just all it's gonna take for us to say, okay, like,
got it in
just
half,
write a letter.
give him half rights. Two golfers.
Well, that's why we're gonna think about it, so, whatever, I'm gonna not vote, so you guys vote.
Let me get, you need a motion.
Well, you need motion of it, but talk about, before the,
Well, you can make a
Talk about
motion
the
and
point.
just stuff.
all right, I make a motion to discuss, reopen this, revisit this donation and we'll discuss it. So I have somebody make a motion, please. I'll make the motion. I will make the motion. Have somebody second the motion.
Second, very good.
All right. Discussion. Thoughts? You go around the table, just go around the table. Yeah,
Again, tragic, I'm concerned about precedent.
I agree with Gail, you know, we've set the precedent, and, you know, we've denied a lot of people. Over the years, now we're gonna. do the thing that we want, you know, you can't do that, you gotta be consistent.
okay, so how long is Dr. Mr. Scott, how long has it been?
2017.
2017, I mean, no, the golf commission,
Yeah.
2017,
2017,
7 years.
7 years. And everybody that came, we said no.
no, oh, no, we had to stop. It was just, we were getting inundated, man. We had them all, and then we,
And that's where we set the protocol that if they were a Berlin organization, not for profit, or the proceeds were gonna benefit an event in Berlin, that we would give the donation. If they were not connected to Berlin in some way, you have to go back and demonstrate exactly.
Okay,
that included everything from, project graduation to different organizations that were here, churches, schools, that's correct. All different school events.
They had a, I don't know exactly how to say it, somewhere where they were taking donations, like they fund, to help the stand,
Five oh, the nonprofit, the 501c3 type of deal.
Yeah.
Like the Ryan
Foundation.
D,
Yeah.
the Manzi Foundation, those are foundations whereby if they came to us and asked us for something, we. In all likelihood, based on our protocol, probably do it because
Right.
those are local.
Local and giving back to the town and
Correct.
that's correct, they're local.
Teacup is another one,
Right.
I think.
Yeah,
Does
And
a lot
they
for
don't
that.
have anything like that. Like the
Sound
college.
like it.
It's not like it's a one-time deal.
No, this is the first year.
Right.
So
this
maybe
is
a
the First Amendment.
response might be that, again, sorry for your tragedy, our protocol is blah, blah, blah. If in the future you establish a Berlin,
That makes sense.
if you establish a Berlin focused charity or event or whatever, however you wanna word it,
Yep,
not for profit
that,
event,
We would be willing to go.
I say give it to them once, tell them unless they move it to Berlin, this will be one time exception.
Well, that's one way. to
Well,
handle it.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to put that on them.
Well,
Well, no, it doesn't meet our protocol. I mean,
No, it doesn't.
go ahead, go around the table and I'll talk my, right, go ahead.
Well, you know, I just feel like if they had some town donation vehicle, you know, I could go for it, but I don't wanna break protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I'm torn with this. I see that we should stick to our protocol. But also, are we gonna lose a lot of goodwill by not doing this one? I would think so.
Yeah, there's
Nowadays,
donation around
it's
town.
$250.
Give one time exception.
Yeah,
Cut it in half if you want, this is a personal thing, not a organization. Give them 2 golfers or one time
So you
exception,
do it, well, go ahead.
one time exception, and then say, if you don't, this is a Berlin event next year, we can't do this again, but we feel for your play. Remember it that way, so it's one time deal, it's all we're playing. He is a Berlin resident, this guy,
Yeah, it is.
and his son died, sounds horrible.
Yeah, and it's tragedy, right, and you feel for the family, anybody that dies, and that loses a kid. Now, here's a family that the kid, and I think I know who this kid is, went through basically T-ball, like you said, Little League, Babe Ruth, the whole nine, and the father coached. Gave a lot of his time, like we all did, if we were involved. Yes, it doesn't meet our protocol, it doesn't, and we denied others that haven't. But at the same token, you have to look at the ill will, then, and I think you hit something that maybe this, it worded, and if we do this, this doesn't meet our protocol, and it doesn't, we read through it, again, we read through this thing, and we're not trying to establish precedent, because we're not. But it's not, if it was at Timberland, it'd be a no-brainer, right? We just say, yeah, it's over and done with, but this is at Thompson's. And we get so many of these things that we have to, pick and choose, basically, those that have an affiliation with our town, and that's what we're trying to do, so, I would, my 2 cents is that, I get it at this point in time with the understanding that, listen, this is it's a one-shot deal, because it doesn't meet our protocol, because it's not held at our facility, it's held at another facility, we get all these things, and, we're very sorry, and we're sorry for your loss, but, that's how that's my 2 cents on this thing, that's my opinion. So,
When is their tournament?
See.
September.
One time deal,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
with the understanding.
Yeah, in September, thank you, Bill, thank you, Bill.
So basically go for the one-time shot.
With the understanding that, listen, that this, it
Yeah,
doesn't
we
meet our protocol.
understand that you hold this at Timberland next year.
Yeah, and, if it was at Timberland, it'd be a no-brainer.
Right.
But it doesn't meet a protocol, but, that's just my 2 cents, right? We all have opinions.
I'm gonna make,
We're all
I know
torn.
you're
We're all
swaying,
torn.
well, it is, it's.
And it's
hard
very
because
tough.
of the goodwill and all, so I'm gonna make a motion that we, do a, break from protocol because of the very personal and tragic nature of this. Not necessarily to set a precedent, but to give them the force of, to give them more, just it's easier to just do it.
Yes, it is.
I'll make a motion.
Second, let's read, all in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Whoever writes that letter, write in, just be with great admiration for your longstanding family.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, that would be
fantastic.
Yep,
And yeah, explaining what our protocol is,
it's our, yeah,
so that,
Yeah.
word of mouth gets out there.
and but we're saying, we're not set precedent with this thing, it's
No,
not,
one time
it's
exception,
a one shot, yeah. And that's right.
that's gotta be right on the letter.
Yeah, well, you're right, man.
Here we go. If I'm giving this, I'm just gonna give it to, there's no circumstances. If you want circumstances, I'll give it to me.
So the circumstances are, well, aren't you going
There's
to,
no circumstances. They
you're not,
don't have to come to us.
no,
We're just
right,
gonna give us.
Right,
right,
I got
are we
you.
going to?
Give it to them, let it go, let it go. If they come next year, then we say no.
we didn't, next year, no.
Right.
I don't need to give them an explanation.
Right. So we're gonna give
So
it.
actually, you don't think we do? Why do we deny it?
We have-
Well, because I
Because it
think,
wasn't affiliated with us.
I know that, but I mean, I think there's we're missing an opportunity to educate someone on what our protocol is. You know, because it says here earlier on in, blah, 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 blah. Based on some new residency.
I'll call this guy and tell him we didn't want that. Am I allowed to do that?
No,
Okay.
I don't know if you really
Why
want, you want,
I mean, I don't think that's, I don't,
it had to come from you, or should come from one of us, one of us would probably do it.
The new
No.
solve.
Well, yeah, they started with Sal. But
They started with you.
I would say after reconsidering and addressing it with the
commission.
Yeah, I'll call him, I'll talk to him.
Oh, Timothy.
Yeah,
I'll take care of it.
I think when they just like
Just so
here
understands, listen.
versus,
just
you know, the
So
dollar.
we did bring it up, we discussed
Yeah,
it, we
because-
started to get lost.
If you just give it to them, then you're gonna say, well, they'll come back next.
Well,
Yeah.
also, like you just
Well,
said.
yeah, what's gonna stop them from doing that?
Because I'll say that.
Well, no,
They
we do
can't
it the next
touch,
year.
yeah, if you
But
think
you,
They'll just write another.
but
That might-
you
come back,
you deny it,
next year.
rightfully so. I think we have to support your
Yeah.
decision
And I
to
do,
deny it,
and I
and
do.
you
Right, and I
do.
know.
So that's why it was brought here, and we're gonna give them an explanation.
Yes, and I'll take care of that.
I'll take care of it. I don't think.
Stay on it, I'll do it, I'll be the bad guy.
I think
You're
you're,
a bad guy,
No.
you're giving them good news.
yes.
And you're,
You're
and
giving them consideration.
good news,
Yeah.
and it's an opportunity to share what our protocols is, and why it was denied initially.
Without
You
a
guys talked about that. If it's,
No, I know he is. I know who he is, you know, yeah. And he did come up with a system, kids did come up with the whole baseball system, you know, we all rake mode, you know. We all did it,
Yeah, hopefully they'll consider us next year.
that's correct.
Oh,
That's what you're looking for.
we need more terms.
There's more money.
Yeah.
More dirt.
That's all we need.
Well, there you go.
Hey, say,
Good, look at that, boy.
I'm never gonna say another thing in these meetings again.
He changed on the dime that boy. Okay.
Maybe you can be in that tournament.
There we go. All right, account balances. All right, T-sign accounts. So do we need to go, to, was it the ordinance committee that, for the town council? To expand upon that, our ability to use that T-sign account for,
I think it's more, it sounded to me like it was a Kevin Delaney issue as to, and I read the minute you were gonna send out the wording on the T-Sun count. The
Well,
wording in it.
We have to write the language. Are you saying this
You-
T-sign account or the one?
No, the
no,
current
the
T-sign
current
account.
T-sign account, we want to expand upon that.
Right, so
Right
what's,
now, the language is just for, I don't think the word is beautification, but for the T project. Like that money can only be used for the T project.
But what's the T? Define the T.
Your, the
The
T
T.
sponsor that was sold
but we also use that account for the
for the
clock.
clock.
The clock. Yeah,
So we
we've
kind of already expanded
That's
it,
right, that whole left, man, that's not right, so.
because although it was decided, I think with Kevin's input, I'm not sure about that. That the money, because we were getting money from sponsors.
So if we're gonna start doing that, we can use it for beautification now, for flowers, to expand upon, even level off some of the Ts.
No,
still
I think that's more for like,
That's T, it's the T, it's the T box. You know,
we got a lot going, $400.
well, we have to sell more signs, is really what it comes down to, right? We haven't sold anything since before COVID. Right? Yeah.
So, that's right.
They've been up there, and so maybe it's time to sort of say, listen, all right, so let's say they've been there, so, and that was the whole intent of this thing. It was a 2-year thing. People that bought on and paid the big bucks for it, right? Have had them up since day one, correct? And now we're going, okay, so now those times are up. I mean, so that's not gonna happen right now, but going forward, maybe that's how we have to look at things.
And what do we charge for those seasons?
Initially, I think it was about $500.
No, I think it was.
No, it's like-
No, really?
Yeah, it's like,
I thought it was more than that. The
No.
cost was.
But that 500 paid for the cost of the sign
Yeah.
plus,
Right.
and then it covered
Really?
the cost.
The cover cost? Okay.
Yeah, we covered the cost of the
Yeah,
sign.
nice.
No, as a matter of fact, we covered the cost of all the signs, including the ones that were not sold and still haven't been sold.
Okay.
I think there's 18 signs, I would have to go, I think we'll have 8, I think 10 of them have been sold, or 10 signs.
So what do you want to put, $200 for a sign now, or what's it, I don't know what a sign costs.
We don't have, unless someone's going to market it, no one's knocking down our door saying they want a sign.
Well,
If they do, then I'm sure someone will bring it to us and we'll give them a sign.
we have to follow up with the people that are there now.
Get them
we
re-up.
don't have
Hurry
to,
up,
you probably have to contact the people that got the sign out, say if they want to re-up.
$200.
And if they
Next year,
don't,
next year,
what,
when
you're
you
gonna
take
take
it down.
theirs down, and then you're gonna have a bunch of blanks out there.
Well,
That's not
it doesn't
gonna
say- it doesn't say sponsored by, sign, or you know, then we have, your name here, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, so you wanna take that on.
Open for discussion, that's all. CIP projects. So you're 10 grand going forward, 9 grand going forward in the new fiscal year. Are you gonna finish up on 16 on the top, are you gonna receive that, or grade that?
I mean, that's probably gonna be a fall thing, another thing, but yes.
That's the plan?
Yes.
Can we-
I know last month I said we were gonna curb it, but I think we're gonna do the rope and wood instead.
I think they
Oh,
open better.
good. And with the,
Uh,
but just something, the stakes?
no, like, not just stakes, but actual posts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This, so the carts definitely can't go over.
Oh, so they can't go over you can't go
Or
over.
we can sit over.
Oh, so,
And the curb will probably about a lot more.
Close to it,
really?
Yeah.
yeah.
Whose job is that? Posting,
Oh, that's gonna be on.
you guys?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, if you don't have enough to do.
Volunteer.
Well, there you go. We'll have it bigger. We'll have an AED right there, just in case anyone fall over, right?
When is the bridge gonna be installed on 17? Is it 7,
That's, yeah, here we go, that's.
Great.
the report by-
So- The donated bridge
yeah.
Yeah.
needs to be approved by town engineer Mike Ahern. He's been out. He is MIA health issues.
Did
Once
they work with him to get this thing done?
they, with him and Atlas, who actually engineered the other bridges for the big project. So once Ms. Ahern approves our bridge, we take it to TC for approval. Once they approve that, it can go 2 ways, highway and Parks Rec to help us with install, Steve Woody. Or,
Well, that's what you're getting, because I was like, they did help us last time, all right. Okay,
or if they cannot help, the donated bridge will be tied into the big bridge project. Which hopefully we're gonna do some bonding rather than insurance.
okay,
If we're able to get bonding, which we're going through now. I can see these projects starting before the year end,
both the bunker and the bridges?
yeah,
Okay,
rather than the bridge, I don't know, bunkers sometime in the winter.
so the RFP, are you working on the RFP now for the
Yeah.
bunkers?
I
Have you decided how many bunkers you're gonna eliminate?
I personally, I have,
Okay,
but Mr. Salvio has. So we have to run the court.
How long is, Mr. Hearn, the alpha? How about their system in town engineer?
Well, since we are not in a rush right now,
Yeah, right.
we'll just wait for Mike, cause he's the one that was appointed to the project.
when's he expecting back, you know?
Like, yeah.
I will,
Or is it, you got a rough idea?
I'll get one,
If
I
not,
don't think it's workman's comp, so it's long term, I think it's more like.
A month?
Person, no.
Oh, whatever, okay, whatever, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Are you going to solicit with somebody from PGA, actually for the elimination of certain bunkers or the reduction of size?
We've talked to like CTBTA. They recommended some names and companies. It's kind of expensive to get someone over here. Pitchmark, who won the bid to do, I think, the baseball field and track. With their proposal that they sent to us, the way they come up to that is they have someone on their team that's done this for many projects, so he acts as their architect. So I like the way they did their renovations where.
We gotta be careful that we're being recorded and this, the RFP hasn't gone out yet, so we cannot, we can't discuss that at that point in time. But the RFP, you're gonna have to work with you guys to figure out, you know, reductions and eliminations.
It has to be like whole mile specific.
You have to be very specific with that, what you wanna do.
I saw one from I think, water barrier or something. They're very specific, so there are things.
Well, the RFP has to be, so you're gonna have to decide up front now, like, you know, what you're
Yeah,
trying to do.
it could be like so specific to where like, only so many people can bid on it.
Well, that's. You have that with capillary, right? There's only 3 or 4, you need 3 bids, correct? Is that what you're saying? You've already talked with the town, we've already discussed that, correct? So, what do you do? That's just the way it is,
Yeah.
right?
RFP, by the time you and we all speak next meeting, should be finalized and on its way to be published.
So that's, July, so by August, you'll have your RFP, it's gonna be 30 days or 45 days? That your 30-day response? Okay. As far as the bridges go, does that have to go out too? To bid?
I'm trying to keep that in-house. It's getting it.
Really?
Cause if we have to go through prevailing wages. That's gonna double.
Got it. Can they do it in-house?
We have something. That can,
Very good. That's very good.
it just has to get passed. Right. The bidding process has to be waiting.
So if you can do it in-house, then there's no need to go out to bid.
Well, because of how much it is, I think.
The town council decides.
They would have to
Hey,
pay
wait.
that.
Okay.
In regards to the bridge, Central Connecticut, put together. Where were you planning to put that if the rules?
Walking Bridge left on 14.
Is there a possibility that we get the railings replaced on the ones on 17?
Like the ones that's there now?
The ones on 17, replaced with what's going on 14?
Oh,
Because I tell you what, it's like, you know,
it's two different bridges, right? Like
yeah,
the width and the size and even the work probably.
it's not really
I
what,
mean,
I just, listen,
yeah, I
forget it,
don't think
forget it,
so.
okay.
When you hit all of that. No, that's why.
What?
Hoping.
The local rule.
But you are.
Must read.
That was
You
all.
must read the again. Read the back of the scorecard.
If you hit the thing, oh, I didn't know that.
Read the back of the
Oh,
scorecard.
really?
That's why I
I didn't know this, yeah.
But that's high too, it's high. That's why they need to cut it down.
That's just, they want you to jump off.
Because that's the-
They need to cut it
Oh,
down.
very good. I
Read the
didn't know
back of
that.
the scorecard.
They call it happy fix.
Okay,
So, any updates on the drinking water?
Yeah, I mean, the only one I think not working, there's only one not working.
No, I'm talking about the quality.
Oh,
of
the quality?
Yeah, well, that water's good to drink.
Is it still
What?
there?
Very cloudy.
well, all right, so I can tell you this for a fact, you take that, you shake it, one of this can be air. Did you see
Air.
this? It's, I've had that happen at work before too, people, oh my gosh, look at it, it's all white, but you soon as
Yeah,
you shake
it's
it.
all white.
Okay,
But
so,
Do I have to water control?
no, there's air, that's all air, so if you take it and put a glass, a bottle like this and shake it, you'll see that if it doesn't come clear, then you can have it, but. Just do it.
You
All right?
gonna be my test man?
No, I'm not.
Just, you don't have to
You're
drink it,
gonna
just do
third
it.
leg.
I think it's-
Every day.
But we have that,
Weeks.
we have that at work.
Yeah, I-
People
I-
freak
I-
out, it's like, no, shake it.
I-
Why? It's-
So the window, it's
I'm
not working.
strictly water bottle guy, so you got to try it, so.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So
No, I've had people ask me,
The water, the one that's not
water?
working is at 15,
Yeah.
14.
Yes.
I think
This
Makes it-
it
means,
wasn't it?
faucet on it.
I thought it-
I wouldn't put anything back.
Bubble or whatever
It's
they
not
work.
I thought,
Oh, no,
I think, I thought it was four. It's not.
The one on,
Yeah, that's not-
the
that's
one
not-
on 15
is not there.
14 is not working.
14.
14 is not.
For my update this week, there's only one now.
No, 14 has never worked.
14 never worked, that's been down for a
That's been
while.
down for years. It's same,
Years.
it's same with Florida.
My understanding from Jerry on the water fountain on the back of 1415T is there's a conflict as to whether it's the water that's either local or something to do with the neighborhood or something. And I think it's that you need a licensed plumber to potentially fix that problem. And unless you get, that's what he said. That you need
I
a
don't know.
licensed plumber to fix that
That's
problem,
on 14. Yeah,
yes,
that's the one that I need to start.
and that's been down for
That's been down for a long time.
several years.
It's, yeah,
Same with four. Four's got a problem right now.
Or it needs, thinking, masonry.
Oh. good. All right.
That's doable.
Okay, you'll get the inventory list and that'll help us
Yes.
out going forward. And congratulations to TJ Clark, Employee of the Month.
We're gonna.
Bobby Parks did.
Probably by the end of the month.
All right, is there anything else? All right,
Any questions or comments?
is,
I make motion that we adjourn.
well, Seventy seconds to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Second, all in favor?
Probably got it.
7:47 right now.
Also, if I remember, I'll scan it.
Rob, have it on the front window, Brady, please.
I'll email you and,
Stop the recording, please.
oh, there's, is there a water faucet?